Well, I think it's about time I throw my hat into the ring on this topic. Now, this video is primarily about the 2 new remasters that just came out, but it's also going to be about Nintendo's business practices as a whole here, as I really kind of think people are overreacting here. Like, sure, some of these prices do seem a bit extreme, but at the end of the day, they're not terrible prices, and at the same time, these are video game consoles, people. You don't need them. I don't understand what this whole outcry about Nintendo being greedy or that Nintendo products are too expensive now. Like, dude, you don't need them. They are entertainment products and they are luxury items. They are fairly expensive for a reason. Now, this isn't me trying to defend Nintendo or saying that their practices are okay or whatever, because frankly, they don't need my defense. I mean, they have enough money as it is, but like, at the same time, man, I am just sick and tired of people whining and complaining every time something new that's big enough, that's like big enough that Nintendo announces. Like, first it was with the Switch 2 itself. Not even the Switch 2, really. Most people agreed that the Switch 2's price was alright. It was Mario Kart World that started all of this. Mario Kart World being $80, well, definitely a shock, especially for the base edition of a game. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if you can't, I just think this is a result of video game prices just not rising as fast enough as they should. Like, games have been $60 for 20 years at this point. Game prices should have honestly risen up like maybe around 2015 or so. Again, I'm not an economist or anything. I'm just sort of making this up off the top of my head, but like, the game prices probably should have risen up a while ago at this point, and we're only just now seeing that. So games probably should have been $70 in like 2015, and it took until 2020 for that to happen. And because of how delayed video game inflation has been, we're now seeing like rapid price increases. That, and with the U.S. government just being completely insane right now, with Trump enforcing all of these tariffs on everything that isn't close to us, basically. Like, I'm just saying, like, this should have been, we should have seen this coming from a while ago now, when people were, in fact, I think people were seeing this coming. They were just scared of the day it did, and when it finally happened, people just didn't know what to think and just resorted to outrage. Which I understand that, like, entertainment in general is becoming expensive, and in times like this when the economy is terrible, stuff like that has to go, because more things take priority. But at the same time, it's not like you'll never be able to afford these things. You'll just have to wait until you can. And I'm like, that's the crust of the issue here. With the Mario Galaxy remasters, like, that price isn't even that bad. Like, it's $70 for both, which, okay, I know I literally just said it's not that bad, but I do think it's a bit excessive. Like, I do think it should have been at maybe $60 for both. But like $40 for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 individually, I think that's a fair price. These are games that are well received by both the fans and the critics, with some fans saying that these are one of the 2 best Mario games of all time, and games that are still like fairly recent, more so in Galaxy 2's case than Galaxy 1. I mean, Galaxy 1 came out in 2007. That game's nearly 20 years old. But Galaxy 2 came out in 2010. I mean, sure, that's still 15 years old, but like, all I'm saying is that you're not paying full price for 30-year-old games. That would be excessive. But at the same time, just because a game is old does not mean it loses value. Like, age does not inherently reduce the value of any object. Or at least in a video game's case. Well, in some cases, but I'm saying that these games were made recent enough that like, they are still like, I'm pretty sure you could release these games brand new, which they are, at a decent price, and most people wouldn't notice. Most people who are like diehard Nintendo fans wouldn't know that these are old games. Like, if they knew absolutely nothing about it. I'm saying, like, these games look and play like pretty well. They still hold up well visually. All they need is a resolution increase. That's basically what they did for Galaxy 1 twice in this instance. They first released Galaxy 1 in 3D All-Stars back in 2020 for Mario's 35th anniversary, which, wow. I can't believe they re-released Galaxy 1 twice for an anniversary event. That's wild. But yeah. And speaking on the case of Galaxy 1, I noticed a lot of people are complaining that you have to spend $70 for both games. but I am fairly sure that the people who are complaining about this issue are probably some of the people who bought Galaxy 1 as a part of 3D All-Stars back in 2020. So for those people, why are you complaining about this? You already own one of the games. You don't need to pay the $70. People who don't own Galaxy 1 can either wait until they can buy both games at once. They can buy 3D All-Stars and they get 2 other games for the price of, well, not one, because that game is fairly rare now. But like, you can still get, like, there are multiple ways to buy Galaxy 1s on Switch right now. And for people who already own 3D All-Stars, whether it be physically or digitally, you don't need the $70 double pack. You can just get Galaxy 2 for $40. So like, what are you complaining about here? And then there's the people who are saying, well, I can just get Galaxy 1 and 2 on my computer and play it via Dolphin. I don't have to pay Nintendo a dime. Then what are you doing here? Go do that. If you can get it cheaper on eBay or play it on Dolphin, then go do that. You're contributing nothing to this conversation here. No one in Nintendo is going to be like, oh my god, this one guy just said, oh, I can just play this on my PC. We better lower the prices so we can compete with that. No, they're not going to do that. The few thousand people that are saying that will be replaced by another few thousand people who are going to buy it anyway on Switch. So, like, you're not doing or saying anything productive here. You are just being annoying. And don't get me wrong here. I understand that, like, I have no money at the current moment, so I can't get any of these things. But I'm not going to sit here and start whining and complaining that Nintendo is evil and that Nintendo is too corporate nowadays, or Iwata would have never done this, which that point is super annoying, but we'll get to that in probably a different video. But like, none of that does anything positive. Again, as I just said, Nintendo isn't constantly looking at social media, like, and being terrified of all these people who are of all this negative backlash and thinking that they better change their practices otherwise to get the most money, because they're not going to do that. Like, there are plenty of other people out there besides the very, very small vocal minority of people out there on the internet complaining about this type of stuff. So I'm just like, none of this does anything positive. I just want to be excited for things now and look at it and share that with everyone else. Now, granted, I could have made a video myself on the Nintendo Direct, but I just wasn't really feeling like it on that day, because the day the Nintendo Direct premiered, which was the 12th, was my birthday, so yeah, I am 19 now. That's brilliant. That's amazing. But yeah, other than, like, I just want, like, after watching that Nintendo Direct, I was pretty satisfied with what I saw. Main criticism I have with that one is that I probably should have been 2 Directs. One, a Mario-focused one, and then the other, a general one, or like a partner showcase or whatever. I do not think this Nintendo Direct should have been one, like, big Direct. Because a lot of the stuff in the second half, after the Mario stuff, just really was not worth seeing. I honestly could have checked out after that point. Because honestly, all I really did care about was Mario, and maybe a few other things. But, like, there was nothing else really special about it I wanted to see, so yeah, but those are my opinions of the Direct, if anyone was wondering. It wasn't really a lot to say about it, other than the Mario stuff, so yeah. I mean, oh yeah, we did get, like, another Metroid Prime thing, but that's... I am fairly interested in Metroid Prime. Never played any of the games, but, like, not a huge fan of that, so yeah. But, like, as I was saying, but yeah, after that Nintendo Direct, I felt pretty satisfied. I'm pretty hyped about what was happening. But no, as soon as the Direct was over, we have people complaining about the prices again, and how $70 is too expensive for 2 old games, which, again, the age of a product, especially video games, does not always diminish its value. The value is in the eyes of its beholder. So, like, if $70 isn't enough for you, you don't have to waste your time out whining on the internet about how you can't get it now. Because, honestly, I feel like that's where most of this outrage comes from. It's just from a bunch of people, probably a lot of grown adults, complaining that they can't get the game on launch day or around launch, which, like, dude, it's not that serious. Again, it's a video game. You don't need to get it as soon as you can. And the thing is, a lot of the people complaining here are relatively big YouTubers who are monetized and are therefore making money off of YouTube ad revenue and sponsorships and whatever. So, like, I feel like, I know this is going to sound a bit pretentious here, but I feel like they shouldn't have the right to complain, since they're in a different league of people than the commenters, who are probably normal people who aren't making money off of YouTube. So I'm like, you can afford this type of stuff. I don't understand why you're complaining about it. And again, if you can't, just wait until you can. I understand that you probably need the money to buy the game so you can cover it on YouTube, but like, these are old games. People have seen this before. I don't really get why you would need to make another Let's Play about this. The game is largely the same, outside of like some small bonus content. I really do mean small, because while the Rosalina storybook thing is cool, it is not a huge integral part of the game. Like, that's like that's more of a side story that's really going on here. The game is not about that. So I'm like, if that's not enough, combined with the resolution upgrade, the frame rate upgrade, and the fact you can play it portably officially now, then what is worth it for you then? What's worth the $40 to $70 you're going to be paying for this then? Because if it's not, then why are you wasting your time playing online when there are other options there for you? Again, like, if you have cheaper options, then go do it. You're not contributing anything here. I don't get why people are complaining about this. Like, people are basically bragging on how I can play this on Dolphin or get it cheaper off of eBay. Then, like, again, as I said, go do it. You're not contributing anything here. That part just really gets me, because like, if you know of cheaper options, then you're wasting your time commenting this on a YouTube video. Like, Nintendo's not gonna see this and change their prices about it. Like, I watched the overview trailer for the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 remaster, and almost every other comment was about the prices. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're not gonna change their mind by like basically spamming them by change the price. That happened before with the Switch 2 reveal, and guess what? Nothing happened. The Switch 2 launched at the price it was announced at. And it was one of the greatest selling console launches of all time. So I'm like, what are y'all doing here? You're wasting your time. This outrage is pointless. It just makes being on social media an even worse place to be than it already is. So I'm like, why can't people just be happy for things? Is what I'm saying. Like, sure, you can show your discontent, but you don't have to whine about it, make thousands of videos about it, because at the end of the day, nothing is going to change. Unless everyone actually decides to band up together and not buy this type of stuff to actually hurt Nintendo's bottom line and show them that they can't do stuff like this financially, then like, nothing's happening, nothing will change. So that's why I always think like huge outrages like this are pointless, because they really are. They don't do anything. What they actually do, however, is just make social media and the internet just a worse place to be in. Because anyone who dares show show anything that isn't just blind hatred towards Nintendo is called a bootlicker or a Nintendo shill, which I am definitely probably going to be called on this video if it does well in the algorithm, that is. Yeah, but if this video does well, I am going to be called a shill, a bootlicker, or something else, or some other derogatory term, just for not blindly bashing on Nintendo for something that ultimately does not matter. Like, really. That's what it feels like. That's what these outrages feel like. Just a bunch of grown adults complaining about how they can't afford something, and they're complaining at the wrong target. Why are we complaining about Nintendo about this? Why aren't we complaining about the other huge corporations in which we are employed in, or most people are employed in, and not getting them to pay us more? Like, why aren't we doing that? Because that would take effort, and people can lose money because of that. People can lose their jobs. I understand people have families and bills and stuff to support and pay for, but like, you're screaming at a video game company, a company that makes things non-essential items that you don't need, that you do not have to pay for, and yet we're screaming at them for their for being able to support themselves at the end of the day. Because like, Nintendo is a company. All the purpose of a company is to make money. So like, I don't understand why people are just now realizing that Nintendo isn't just magical toy company that just gives the things out for free, because they're not. They really aren't. I don't understand why people are just now realizing that. Like I've seen this statement going around on like various social media platforms about how Nintendo or any other corporation isn't your friend. And I'm like, of course they aren't. Why did you have to be told that? Why are you spreading this around? That should be inherently known. These companies aren't your friend. Their purpose is to make money and to squeeze as much money out of you. The only reason why we're seeing like companies get worse nowadays is because they are allowed to get away with it. People keep buying their products. So I'm like, unless we actually stop buying their products, things are going to continue the way they are. This is why I'm always sick of hearing these outrages, because they ultimately amount to nothing. All they do is just make it harder for people to enjoy things. That's, at the end of the day, that's what this is. That's what this does. It just makes it harder for people like me to enjoy things, because you're always surrounded by outrage. And if you dare show an opinion that doesn't align with the outrage, then all you get is insults thrown at you. I'm like, why? Why can't people be happy about things? That's the core of this video. I just cannot be happy about things and share the happiness with everyone else, because everyone else is too busy being mad about things that don't matter. That is what all this is. Just people being mad about things that don't matter. And I'm sick of it. Just either be happy about it or move on. Like, I know that sounds harsh, but that's the end. That's the bottom line here. You're either happy with what's there, or you're not, and then you move on and spend your money somewhere else. All this extra complaining does nothing. So yeah, that's basically what this video was for. As you can probably tell, it was a bit more of an angrier rant. I definitely did play things up a lot more, which I mainly did to sound a lot livelier, rather than just a bunch of rather than very like monotone and secluded almost. Like, that's how I would describe, especially my very first commentary video on the Knuckle Show from like a year ago. So yeah, but yeah, that's basically what I just came here to do, just rant about a lot of things. I think I got most of my points across. I did sort of like repeat a lot of things and jumped around a lot. Again, that's what happens when you don't write scripts for these videos. I do plan to have an actual scripted video at some point, so I don't do things like this. I mean, I have written scripts before, but like videos like these are just very unprofessional and unstructured. But yeah, I wanted to get this video out. I've been thinking about it for like 3 days now, so yeah, here it is. Probably should have set this at the beginning, but there won't be a ton of editing here. I'll just let my talking talk for itself, because I think I have pretty sound points. I think you just tell me in the comments if they weren't, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.